First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth with sincerity. And shout out to Yakim that's coming out in the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth in the city of unwalled villages, the valley, and soon to be the valley of Haman Gog. Pretty sure of it, which is the burial place, the final place of Esau Edom, and pretty much, this is going to be the place that's going to be uninhabited except by all evil, birds. That pretty much this place is going to be a desolation. As we now know that, they're provocating regime change in all three: Iraq, Syria, and Iran. Benjamin, not a Jew, not very fucking happy that, Iraq is starting to take back Kirkuk, from the terrorists, which is the YPG. That's their new terrorist group besides ISIS. And then while in Syria, Bashar al-Assad has been making gains also against the terrorist group ISIS, and has evacuated the militants from those areas and has recaptured these territories. So pretty much Benjamin, not a Jew, is losing his grip in the Middle East, and so the terrorists are being driven out, And of course, now Donald Trump's about to make an announcement that he's looking for a regime change also in Tehran, looking to overthrow the Iran government, because Donald Trump is nothing but a stooge underneath the Israeli state in Levant, ISIL. The Israeli state, the Amalekites, at least their flock, is drawing them out into this war. And so pretty much what's going to happen is the central bank is already moving in to crush the dollar. I already talked about that yesterday. And upon that, pretty much everything's going to be replaced with the cryptocurrencies, where you have to have a microchip in your right hand or forehead that you can't buy, sell, or trade. And of course, the government is looking to pretty much take all the houses and turn them into FEMA centers, pretty much. That and that's how they're going to redistribute the wealth, because they're going to pretty much, put everybody into these detention centers, because that's what they're going to become, And that's what the trains are for, the rail cars, and they're going to gather people up from the cities and going to move them to the bigger FEMA camps. And then the smaller houses that are here in your towns are going to be pretty much the holding facilities until they can get them on the rail cars. That's what's about to happen. So we're seeing this unfold, as, of course, every Tomahawk missile is about at least $2 million, so a whole bunch were shot off, and none of them hardly even made their target. So, this place is, going to be gathered in the valley of Jesophat, which is the valley of Yahweh's judgment, because he's judging all the wicked nations. And so we're going to read out of Zechariah chapter 14. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. And who is Jerusalem? We, the prophets on the streets, prophesied. We, the people of Yashala, to battle. And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. So pretty much, this thing is going to start changing really soon. That pretty much, we're just like I was talking about before, about the rail cars, and the fact that this place won't even be safe to be in the city anymore. And that's how the martial law is going to come in. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle. The Most High is going to fight against the nations. That's why they're being gathered together now in the valley of Jesophat. And his feet shall stand in the day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem, which Jerusalem is a people. We, the people of Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, coming down, because he's going to gather us up, and then we're going to come back down with Yahushai. Shall leave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And you shall flee into the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yea, you shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the day of Uzziah king of Judah, and my God shall come, and all the saints with thee, you know. And so that's what's going to happen, you know. Just like we fled into the mountains, into the Saharas, you know, when Jerusalem was originally captured, the same thing we're going to do here, you know. We're going to, of course, we're not going to hang around the city to be captured, put a few camps. Some of us will be put there. I mean, not all of us are going to escape, but for the most part, we're going to flee into the mountains, you know. That's what this is talking about. But it shall be one day with who shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And at the day that living waters shall go out of Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be. And the Lord shall be the king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one, which we know what the names of, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakakadosh. And that day shall be turned as a plain from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place from Benjamin's gate, under the place of the first gate, under the cornerstone, and from the tower of Haniel unto the king wine presses. So again, you know, the Most High is going to deliver his people out of this place, Babylon the Great. But before that happens, of course, the day of Jacob's trouble is slowly approaching, you know. As we know that the third week this month, you know, they're going to, the central banks are already on the move to replace everything with cryptocurrencies. And of course, the Petro One is going to be taken off as all these countries, you know, let the weak say I'm strong. All these countries now are divided against Babylon the Great, America, because, of course, they're tired of it, you know. And even the closest allies that just bombed Syria, France and UK, is saying don't back out of the Iran deal. But of course, the Israeli state Levant, the Amalekites are pretty much controlling this whole thing, and they shall hate the whore and make her desolate. Well, the whore is pretty much makes up the force behind Amalek. These Amalekites, these fake-ass Jews, you know, and so they're, you know, staging false flags all around, you know, to gather people to want to go to battle, you know. And of course, you know, the false prophet, Christianity, is going to push that we got to pray for Jerusalem, you know, which is the fake Jews, you know, and that, you know, pretty much that you got to support Israeli state, you know, because that's what the false prophet is there for. That's why, you know, they've been deceiving us. The plantation churches, which is the false prophet, you know. That's why they push up the images of Cesare Borgia, you know, and have been deceiving our people for the longest, but we're coming out of that now. We now know who we were as a people, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and the confusion that faced to be among us. We're the real Israelites, unlike those fake-ass Jews that are over there, those gutter rats that are in Israel now, you know, in the land. But now this place, this land of unwalled villages, is about to be brought to asunder, is pretty much going to become desolate, when she'll be naked and burned with fire. Her nakedness is being shown all over the world. Everybody knows that America has lied about every single thing. You know, pretty much they know that America supports the terrorists. They know that America's behind all the terrorism in the world. That it's the Amalekites, which runs America, pretty much, aka your Illuminati, your 1%, your Rothschilds, Rockefellers. The whole world knows about this. This ain't a secret anymore, you know. You know, it used to be, yeah, you'd see the symbols of the Freemasonry, but now everybody knows who the Freemasons are. Everybody knows. You know, the secret is no longer a secret, you know. They know that these global elites, the Illuminati, are the ones running everything, you know, and people see through this dog and pony show that it's always been. So I hope this has been edifying, and like everything else, proclaim this truth while you still can. Because they will be shutting down the internet very soon, and Jacob's trouble is just right around the corner. Shalom.